Pursuant to section 1073A of the school code, a motion to appoint and approve Gary L. Dawson, Doctor of Education, to the Office of Superintendent of Schools to start on or before November 18th, 2019 to June 30th, 2023, and authorize the board president and the board secretary to execute the attached employment agreement.
Discussion.
I feel we've had a multitude of superintendent interviews, and as everyone has said before, nothing to take away from Christie, but I think we have a good candidate here to vote on, experience-wise and good person.
I look forward to what they'll bring together as we can.
With all of the dissent that we have heard, should it be considered perhaps table it?
What are we missing?
Are you making a motion to table it?
Well, I guess I'm asking for other people's input first as well. I mean, like, should that be a consideration? That's what I'm asking.
My concern is Dr. Dawson cannot come here until November 30th. There's an election that takes place right around that time, that again is going to change the board. I think it would behoove this board to wait until the new board comes in with hiring someone and keep Christie as our interim superintendent.
It is mentioned that it is on or before November 18th. The board at the current district that he is at has 60 days to release it.
Well,
So much.
honestly, it could be tomorrow and still ask the board to wait. I think we should keep Christie as our interim and let the new board explore this.
And I think that Christie will be working with, if Dr. Dawson is appointed, working with him to make the school district better. I don't see that as a losing proposition. I see Christie working with Dr. Dawson, and I think it doesn't matter that we're having an election. To say that we're having an election and just because some people may or may not be here, does not mean the school district stops. We took an oath to try to do our best with the information that we're presented. Sometimes we have to make decisions that probably do not sit well with some of the public, but usually you go with the information provided and look at what's good for the whole public, for the whole district.
And based on our budget, based on Christie's performance, I think it is the best interest of the community, our students, our staff, to keep Christie as our interim superintendent, regardless of an election.
You said about the budget. Now, many times I have pointed out, and I will, I'm gonna bring this up now because I think it warrants it. I did bring up a line item about the budget. I did bring up certain issues that I had with the budget, and I also did bring up the issue of adding 4 assistant principals after the budget was already passed. I thought that was not responsible to do that because we had already had a budget that was not gonna fulfill the needs. I did ask where that money was coming from. That money was not allocated, okay? So that budget was passed. We're not even funding everything that we should be funding with the budget that we passed with that little bit of an increase. Now, I'm looking at what's going to be going on here in the next couple of years, next 5 years, next 10 years. And there was a lot of things that we could have done differently, and I do believe I stood up there and said about it. And yes, I did ask for time for motions to wait, to look at information, and they weren't. But you know what? I don't care about that. What I care about is the here and now. I'm not going to go back. You can't unring a bell. What I want to try to do is what's best for this district and try to work with what we have. If I don't do that, then that is my fault. That's where I'm doing something that I don't think is right. I'm trying to be the one trying to be reasonable, and I said, there's still some changes that we're going to have to make here to make this budget work. From everything I'm hearing, and I did talk to the business manager, I think that we're still going to have to do something with this budget as it is because of changes. Just like the whole consolidation thing. Consolidation thing is going to work. Well, it would work, from what I'm hearing, if there wasn't a whole bunch of changes. There was a whole lot of contingencies that were added on to that. There was a whole lot of extras that were added on. There was a lot of staffing that didn't follow the parameters that were set forth. So, guess what? We have what we have now. So now we have to work with what we have. And I think, you know, this is not, I'm not Johnny-come-lately on this. I have been the one trying to work with this, even though I wasn't for the consolidation as it stood, because I said there was problems with it, and I felt there would be issues. And I'm not trying to say that I'm 100% right here, but there is some things that are coming up now that was talked about, and this is something that wasn't new. It was happening when I was sitting out there, before I was up here, during I was up here. So, you know, to say that everything is based on, one decision is not based on directing the budget, I don't think so. We have to go back and look at the budget as a whole, look at what led us to this point. We need to work out of this hole. We need to get to where we need to be. And that is, sometimes you just have new positions that you just can't approve. Or you can't have the latest and greatest of this, or the latest and greatest of that. Sometimes you have to work within your parameters.
So we
I know,
spent
you know what, I know it's-
$60,000 to hire 4 administrators, and you're upset about that, but you're
Wait,
willing to
no,
enter
wait,
into a
wait.
$700 and some
Did
thousand
you
dollar
say,
contract.
did you say 60,000?
That was the amount that was over.
Rich, is that
That's
the
what we were
amount?
told.
It was in the high 60s with the positions we didn't fill for
The
teachers.
benefits and everything, the whole total package?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Because-
was given to us on a piece of paper. That was told to us because we moved the dean of students back into vacant teacher positions. We were able to fill these gaps that we had left through our vote. We bought into the package, I voted for it, I admit it, but it was a mess, and so we corrected that. My concern is, I agree, Troy, we have to look at where we are now. I wasn't judging a wait and see approach. I was saying, there are times where it's appropriate to wait and see, and there were times where you asked for that and we did it. So that was, I feel like you took that as a negative statement. What I'm saying is, now, if we're gonna just go from today, past B aside, right now, we could lock into a 4-year contract that's $750,000, or we could wait 3 months, or we could wait 6 months and do that. Right now, we are in a different position administratively than we even were in July. We're not certain that we are going to need a superintendent and assistant superintendent. We might, but these new administrative positions can pick up some of those duties that we so desperately needed. We've always had those 2 positions. The assistant superintendent was not a new position we created this spring. We filled one. We could choose to leave it vacant while you figure out this new budget thing. And I agree, business has to continue when a new board comes on, but we are saying to a new board, we're locking you into $750,000, good luck. Maybe we messed everything up till here. Maybe we did, and if we did, because we didn't listen to you, I'm sorry. But we're here today, and this contract will cost us $755,666.22 over the next 3 years and 9 months, give or take, depending on when it starts. And my concern is, I mean, I'm fine with investing more in education and doing incremental tax increases that are consistent with rising costs. I voted that way consistently, I've said that way consistently. Notice I'm not on the ballot this December, and that's or November, and that's fine. Like, that is fine, but we have to take into consideration that ideology and say, like, then tell me, if you're gonna do this, what do you plan to cut?
You said you're bringing in $750,000 of the contract. Now, that is over 4 years' time.
Correct.
This is,
3 years
we're
and 9
talking
months.
about this year's budget.
But we're
This year's
locking it
budget.
in.
Were we set up for an assistant superintendent and a superintendent in this budget?
But we have we have a 5-year contract and a 4-year contract.
Rich Miley gave me an email last week. Salaries for this year were budgeted $107 for the assistant superintendent and $141,780 for the superintendent. The new superintendent would be a savings on that, although I don't like looking at that as a savings, but he did have it budgeted.
I agree. We also, I'm not disagreeing with that. I'm looking at what we're locked into.
And
Lots
you
of
know what?
expenses are
Here's the thing.
fungible, contracts
You're looking
aren't.
about your debt. I know what you're saying, and I understand it completely, okay? But you're lumping in 4 years and you're looking at it one. Now, I've been trying to tell you for the last couple years about this, that we would get to this point. okay? I'm not saying I had crystal ball. They were saying there were some things that I could see.
But then my question is, where is the fungible expense, like, that's what I ask, is it
Where
extracurriculars,
is
is
the
it?
funds coming from the four principles that you guys approved?
The
Where is that?
$60,000, well, we've already saved it this year by not paying a superintendent all year. That's one. Two
How
is,
can you justify not having
Yeah.
a superintendent as a savings?
we have not filled.
You added
positions.
4 positions, and you justify it as a savings because you didn't hire the lead person in your district.
I think we just see this differently and that's okay,
I
like,
understand we see things differently, and you know what? I do commend the fact that you decided to go ahead and be part of this again, because I know initially you said you didn't want to be part of this because you weren't going to be on the board after this November. So I said, I think to myself that you wanted to be part of this, that's fine. But I don't see how hamstringing the rest of the board by saying, well, the board's gonna change. The board will change, the board will always change. Personnel and people will change, okay? We can't use that as, well, we can't do
I
anything.
don't know the
because
answer to
we're
this
gonna-
question, but how often does at least 1/3 change in any, maybe it happens a lot, but that seems like there's 3 that are definitely gonna change, that's 1/3, 1 that might change, and I forget if there's only 4 or 5 on the ballot, one's almost definitely not going to. Point being, it doesn't matter, you're right, business has to continue, and whether the board was changing or not, my vote would still be to wait, because we don't know that we need to fill both these positions for this amount of money. And it's amazing to me that the arguments we're doing are completely the opposites of our usual ideology.
I think what she's really asking is because some of the board members voted no to the larger tax increase, that if for the next 3 years, not this year, but the next 3, because we know this year will be taken care of, because we already said it was budgeted, but for the next 3 years, are the people who are still going to remain on the board that voted no to the budget, are they going to be willing to vote yes to the next budget to make sure that the contract can be honored in good faith?
And no
I
other
think
services
that's-
are lost.
And
Like,
no
sure,
other-
they're gonna make sure the
I think that's
contract is
what she's
honored.
asking.
And that's, yeah, sure, the contracts can be honored, we're not gonna
Right,
defend
right,
our
but-
contract,
But
but what
so that our
services
students don't lose
or
anything.
facilities or other educational opportunities are going to be lost or have the potential of being lost, and why does this have to be today? Why today is more important
But see,
than,
it wasn't just today. We've been in this process now for months and months.
the
Okay, and this
landscape has
permission
changed
is
every other week in this
This
district.
hasn't been just a snap decision,
In July, we didn't have all those administrators in buildings. When we made this, in March, the whole thing was a hot mess when we did the first search, right? In July, we were woefully understaffed with certified administrators. The landscape has changed. It's not that anybody did anything wrong or in bad faith or anything, but today, we have the ability to wait and see if we can not spend all this money and disrupt what is. I've gotten no negative feedback whatsoever, and I don't understand why this is so important today.
And to our staff and to our kids, need another transition 3 weeks into the school year. Another new face to meet.
Just think about this. Okay, we get the whole budget thing, all right? We understand that Mr. Dawson could be the greatest thing since sliced bread for somebody else. If you table this, it gives you a chance, because the whole time you guys have been doing your thing, the public hasn't been able to say a word, because they haven't known.
Right.
They haven't known squat till tonight, till this week.
Right.
It gives the public a chance for you to listen to the public, for you to listen to the people of Juniata County, and allow us to be a part of it.
Right.
Most of the people don't even speak in the county because they're scared to speak because they're afraid of their jobs. The employees are afraid to speak out for what's right because they're afraid they're gonna be reprimanded because Keith Yarger put that in their brain for the last 5 years.
And
Or
if
you would have
vote-
more people here.
If you vote with
Don't
the
tell me
people of this
hogwash.
county,
I work
you
there.
darn well know we're gonna support you, good or bad, no
Six.
matter how it turns out, we're
Six
gonna do right
members
behind
up
you,
here
you know
running
that?
for yarders,
they-
raise salary and so on and so on.
And I don't
And
think any
it's
of that
them
either.
I blame that got us in this mess. 6 of you said, yeah, we're gonna give Yarder a raise. Why? And then you go into
Mrs. Woodward,
this.
would you like to know why? We
Yeah,
did
you
because-
told me why.
Oh, did I? Did I tell you that we spent months trying to get his evaluation done, but our then president of the board didn't do it? Did we tell you we missed meetings and personal commitments to be at meetings to do his evaluation? But our then president didn't get the evaluation done, which meant when he had an offer from another district at what exponentially higher than what we would pay, our backs were against the wall. So yes, I voted for it. Did it turn out bad? Sure. I've already admitted I regret one vote with more information.
You said
Make it two.
what you told me was you looked around and asked or you found
We
out
also did a
other
salary
ones
survey.
had more salary than him, and that's why you gave it.
That's true too.
Not anything else. You just told me that particular thing.
Well,
And
now
I'm
I've told
thinking,
you two
why would you
things.
do that?
I would not have gone above a salary survey or median, but I will also say our backs were against the wall because it was way past when we were contractually obligated to do his evaluation. And our then president was pushed and pushed and pushed to do that, but then got to vote no. So,
All right, so let's move on with the meeting here. So, Board Secretary, can you do a roll call?
are you moving to table it, Christine?
We have a motion to approve the appointment of the superintendent. So moved. Second. Roll call. We already did our discussion.
Mrs. Warner?
Yes.
Mrs. Wagner?
No.
Mr. Wagner?
Yes.
Mr. Woodward?
Yes.
Mrs. Kelly?
No.
Mrs. McLaughlin?
No.
Mrs. Shadle?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Mr. Shear?
No.
Mr. Snyder?
Yes. Motion passes.
You people should be ashamed of yourself. And Troy, you should call people back when they call you.
Mr. Dawson, would you like to say anything?
One thing I would like to say, I certainly appreciate the discussion, and I was actually very moved by the confidence the district and the administration staff is in Christie, and I'll use your first name to try and be friendly. But, I was extremely moved as a sitting superintendent to be able to sit here and see the kind of community support and the kind of outcry for her job that she's done, her commitment to the school district over many years. I think all of those things are very admirable, excuse me. My mouth's still dry, so I was sitting here listening to the banter. But anyway, my hope is that Christy and I can become a team, and we can continue to move this school district in a positive direction. I know it's gonna take a while for me to earn trust from the community, the district, the administrative team, and our students and parents. That's certainly a goal. I certainly don't wanna take the district off of any track that it's currently on, so I'm hoping that the assistant superintendent, and myself as superintendent, can become an even more powerful team than what you currently have, and continue to move this district in a positive way. And over time, I hope that, I can garner the same support and the same commitment that she's obviously been able to garner from the community to this point. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Do I have an adjournment? So moved.